So, what is my approach to learning? What is my approach to learning? What is my approach to learning? I don't know. I really need to talk through this one because I don't know if I've ever really even thought about it. You know, I was listening to some tapes the other day. It was about how Jesus taught. And I mentioned this to a guy in a Sunday school teacher's chat room the other day, and he said that Jesus used a whole lot more things than just words. You just can't talk a lesson to death. Look at it this way. Now, this P here, that represents a pupil, the student of God's Word. Now, this child is dealing with several factors here, such as E, the environment. Are you following me so far? Okay. Now, the B over here, it stands for Bible. Very important. Now, I'm going to put a circle around this entire equation. Now, that represents the universe. And then you can see
Moses was a very brave man. Here he is speaking before Pharaoh. And here he is before the burning bush. When he was leading and teaching the people, he used a rod as a visual symbol of God's power. And here is a sculpture of Moses. Can you see what I mean by the importance of touching it?
Now, this rock, it came from the Holy Land, and there's a chance that this rock might have been one of the ones that the Pharisees were going to use to stone the adulterous woman. Now, that would have been quite a coincidence, but it is possible. Here, let me demonstrate what that might have looked like. You see, the Pharisees would have been way over there, and the adulterous woman, they would have to drag her out in front of everyone so that everyone could see what was going on. Now, they would have to be careful because
You don't want to break it. Got it on clearance at Lifeway Christian stores after Christmas sale. Can't you see the courage in his face? I think that sometimes the best learning tool is
silence. Let's give people some time to think. Let them think. And reflect, yeah. Reflect on the message. Give them some paper and take your rock and tap it on the side of your head gently. Oh, that hurt. Now, just imagine that rock that you have flying in your direction at 50 miles an hour.
He probably said it something like this.
Let my people
Go ahead. Feel how hard this stone is. Hold it tight in your hands and
Listen to the music. Let's say I'm reading a passage from Proverbs. Now, doesn't that sound like wisdom? It is very peaceful and precise. Now this sounds like the story of Joshua, doesn't it? Listen how well it goes with the story. When the trumpet sounded, the people shouted. And at the sound of the trumpet, the people shouted, and the walls collapsed. I think we could write a song about that. And if I want to teach a very important lesson, I like to use
a net when I take the students out to the lake to tell them the story of Peter's life. I always thought that if you teach a child about Peter in the classroom, they'd learn a few facts and forget about it in a day or two. Take them out on the lake and tell them the story of Peter's call to become a disciple, they'd remember that for a lifetime. It does my heart good to know that these kids have someone that they can talk to and get to know. Yeah, I'll bring the cheese dip. It'll be at 7 o'clock at my house. Thanks. Bye-bye now. To get to know them, to get to know their parents, to feed their dog when they leave town on vacation. Doing this helps them to understand how Peter might have felt when he tried to walk on the water. But be sure you have one of these for that particular field trip. Maybe we could go as a group. Hey, it's me.